Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon back with another episode of DC Universe Online. And we are going to be doing a price guide for the most recent time capsule, the Oracle time capsule. This one is a little bit different in rules because every component of this is locked to the platform. So yeah, if you're on PC, you can only trade with other PC players, and same with PlayStation, even though we're on the same server. Xbox and Switch, since they're just single platform servers, they're unaffected by that. But yeah, it's basically separating PC and PS as far as like the items permissions. Yeah, I don't think we know the reason behind that. We tried to get the devs to tell us, but they told us, I think they listed reasons it was not. So I thought it had to do with the platform owners, because typically there's like beef between like Microsoft and Steam and Sony, but that wasn't the case actually. I think that's the case with other permissions where it's locked platform though, because they just want their money to stay on the same platform. But that wasn't the case this time around. It could possibly be to adjust the economy, but in my head I can't figure out why, like how that would help. If anything, I kind of thought the PC players would kind of be like, we have less selection basically. So some of these items I'm going to search for during this session might not even show up, simply because there's way more PlayStation players. So as a PC player, when I'm looking at this, I don't see the PlayStation posts for these items. So yeah, once again, like all the videos and all the price guides on this channel, this server is USPC PS. We're going to have the inflated prices. It would be interesting if someone from EU weighed in on these prices as well, because I am curious about how bad the inflation is. Okay, so I usually start these videos out with what to go for the feats. This time around is a little bit different because they actually made a correction from the previous time capsule. We do have the two sets, and that is the Prophetic and Enhanced Prophetic, inspired by Oracle's Virtual Armor. And you can see these in detail, because I don't have any of these items quite yet. We're about 2 weeks in, but if you want to look at any of these items, look at the official live stream, and I will link to that in a card as well as the description. So 2 feats there, 2 sets, pretty much standard with pretty much the same as any of the recent time capsules. Then we've got, in this one we have the emblem sets. So there's going to be Birds of Prey emblems, regular set as well as an enhanced set, and there's a feat for each of those. Then we've got the usual 3 collections. I'll refer to them as the common one, which is the lower one, the uncommon one in the middle, and the rare. So it was actually hard to tell because of the way they presented it. In this one we're getting Dove's Mask, which seems to be the common one. Then there's the Network Infiltrator Accessory, which seems to be the middle. Although when they presented it, that seemed like the rare, because I think they showed like the mask first, then they showed Hawk's cape, and then they showed the accessory. But based on prices right now, as you'll see when I hit the broker, Hawk's cape is the one that's more rare than the accessory. And then there is an ultra rare as well, and that is the Harlequin Chroma Pack, which is it's a black, white, and red chroma with like a texture on it. Again, you'll have to refer to the official live stream for now. And that being the ultra rare, you'll unlikely see that on this channel, simply because I don't open that many capsules, and in order to get the rare, you pretty much have to roll it or be super rich. And actually, even if you have the money for it, you're going to be blowing a good percent of your portion, your total funds on it. So not something I recommend, and not something I go for. The change here was with the ultra rare, like they gave an update a few days after. The previous time capsule, which caused a lot of complaints, Dark Multiverse, they had an ultra rare neon chroma, which was the first time they attached a feat to it. And it seems that was an error, because initially the Harlequin chroma in this time capsule, the Oracle's time capsule, started out with a feat in it. But they did confirm it was a mistake. It was also a mistake with the previous time capsule. So what they did to erase that this time around was they produced another feat where you had to open 5 more capsules from the date of the patch. So if you started this late, the opening of the 5 to fix that feat overlaps the opening of 15. In most of the recent time capsules, if you open 15, you get a feat, and then you get some kind of item. For Oracles, you're going to get a Harley-inspired orbital called it's a Bop orbital, where it's just a large hammer that comes down and kind of reskins the regular orbital. So yeah, the 5 opens that's patching the ultra rare feat will overlap that. So yeah, that one will pop either by getting the ultra rare or by opening the 5, whichever comes first, which is likely the 5. And something of note, when you open the 5, it's just popping the feat to clean it up. You don't actually get the item. And that being a patch, we should not see that for future time capsules. So in a future time capsule, it's just going to be the ultra rare, like any of the other older ones in the past, where you just got the ultra rare, no feat. Okay, so moving on, we're just going to take a look at the broker. Like I said, we're only 2 weeks in, so some of these items have not really settled down. Either that or there's a pattern change. Because if we look at, let's look at the gear first. It should be called Prophetic. Now, when I last looked at this, I couldn't figure out a pattern, because it really doesn't follow the past. Like as I'm sorting them now, this is price ascending, so you're seeing the shoulders first, and that's unusual because we're used to seeing the gloves and belt. And you are seeing the shoulders mixed in with the gloves and the boots. The boots are starting to show up here as well. In a lot of the recent ones, the boots switched places with the pants. Like the pants fell down into the lower end and the boots became more rare. But now I'm seeing all those items here. The only thing that seems to be consistent is the chest, head, and back are still rare. It seems to be the common and medium parts that seem to have gotten scrambled. But even based on these prices, that like the chest, the standard chest is not that bad. So I don't know. I think this could be too early to tell. I mean, it would be cool if they were kind of evened out a little bit more, because the chest head and back in the past have been too rare. But yeah, it's really hard to tell. And again, like, I'm only seeing the PC side of this. Like, if somebody from PlayStation posted this, I'm not seeing it because they separated them. Like, if you look at all the ones I'm rolling over, it says cannot trade across platforms. So that means these are all the PC posts only. That could very well be throwing it off, because with the much larger PlayStation population, the PlayStation listing will be more accurate, simply because there's more items. So if someone did the same video from a PlayStation, these numbers and percentages are going to seem more accurate. So unfortunately, I can't really tell with the gear pieces. But with the collections, it actually took a few days. Like, there could possibly be a pattern change in there as well. If we I'll look at the lower item first, which is the collection parts for the Dove mask. The collection is called Inner Peace. So if we just look at some of them, most of these parts, we're looking at the yin pendant. That is actually the third spot in the collection. I'm just going to be looking at some random parts. All of the pieces here, out of the 12 parts, 1 through 11 should fall roughly around 1 million at this point in time. The rare piece, oh, by the way, if you want to see the listing of all of these collection pieces for all 3 collections, check out the blog link in the description below. I made a blog post that lists all of them, as well as what keywords to look for. Okay, so this is the rare part, Tarataya's Gift, for Dove's mask. On day 1, it started out at 75 million. And I couldn't tell if this or the second item, which is the collection for the accessory, because on day 1 those two were almost the same price. And that was pretty much an effect of this stuff being PC only. Just not enough being on there and people not being able to tell which one was rarer than the other. So this one we're starting to see them separate apart. So clearly the Dove mask is a little bit more common. 20, these actually dropped at some point, like it was around 16 million at some point. This is one of those things where I'm going to wait till the end, because it's still going on a roller coaster. And if we're talking about inflation, just pretty much look at any of the older videos comparing the common item in a time capsule. So in the past, like these I would say the common and uncommon are roughly 10 times higher than they used to be. The rare, which we'll look at soon, I think it's like 2 times more. Alright, so now we're going to look at the collection pieces for info security, and that, or InfoSec, that's for the network infiltrator accessory. So this is the first spot, which does not show up, or I already collected it. Oh, that one kind of jumped. That should be 1 million, but it's going as 5. So that could be a product of it just settling in. Password cracking software is the piece. So yeah, again, hard to tell when there's only one on there. Typically when I checked this one, it was 1,000,000. So I want to get to one where there's more, like a lot of listings, like this one. Pretty much, there's a good variety of prices as well. Like this is probably 2,000,000. So maybe these are averaging two to 3. The rare piece, the number 12 spot, is called White Hat. And that is consistent with pretty much a few days ago. 68, 70 million. This one on day one was 70, then it jumped to 100, and now it's settled back at 70. But it's a big jump from the rare of Dove's masks. So with the number of examples on, it's pretty safe to say that this is the uncommon collection. And now when we look at the rare collection for Hawk's Cape, the collection name is called Focused Aggression. The first example does not even show up on PC. Alright, Aggressive Manifesto. Pretty big fluctuation in price. It could be 2 or it could be 5. Typically, I'm expecting the rare pieces to be around 5. But, or maybe they're just 2. I mean, see, this could be a pattern change too, where they're just making the common items really common. This is the rare piece, which doesn't show up. Oh wait, there it is. Yeah, this has been 600 million every time I've checked. From what I remember, the rare piece of the rare collection would normally be 200, so this is about 3 times higher with the inflation. So let me just throw in another one to see if it shows up. Yeah, right now the others are fluctuating a lot. I would say between 2 to 5 would be a fair value for any of them. If you could grab them at 2, go for it. But my strategy for this is, if you don't somehow get lucky on the rare, either catching like an incorrect listing on the broker or just rolling it yourself, don't bother getting the others. But yeah, the pattern change I'm noticing with the rare collection is with a lot of the recent ones, either 2 or 3 back. I don't remember which time capsule it started with. It could have been the Dark Knight time capsule, which is 2 back. The rare of a lot of the recent ones actually had 2 rare pieces. Typically the normal pattern is 12 components, with the last one being like much rarer than 1 through 11. But with a couple of the recent rare collections, they made the 1 and 12 spots rare. That's not the case with this time capsule, so maybe they caught that and corrected it, because that doesn't seem fair. Like it's hard enough to get 1 super rare piece, let alone 2 of them. So yeah, there's a lot of changes with this one, so hopefully this all makes sense to you. I mean, it's probably going to sound really confusing with me just talking about it and not really showing anything. But yeah, if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments and I'll try to answer them. But quite a bunch of this is kind of unknown at this point. The emblems, I'm not noticing them being super rare. If you open 15 capsules, it's highly likely you complete one of the emblem sets. So that's a bit of a relief. Like I actually have both emblem sets completed on 2 accounts, so it's not terrible. But looking at the collections, I'm likely only going to be able to complete one of them, the more common one. So hopefully in a future video following this up, I will be able to show that. I may try for that middle one, but there's no way I'm paying for the rare item. But you know, I'll do what I can. I'll keep rolling when I get those free stabilizers. But other than that, I typically don't put that much money into you know, the stabilizer keys. I just wait for the resurgence events, because you basically get 2 for free. And we get resurgence every 2 capsules. So after this capsule, we should get a resurgence, which